Hello and welcome to my humble abode. My name is Lisa and this is Mysterious Mystical Moments and today is Bear Friday. Now I will be talking about some of the most famous hotels or motels, whatever you want to call it, in California. California, here I come. Been there a couple times. The first one is probably one of the most famous ones. Is called the Cecil B Motel. Now, the Cecil B Motel had two infamous killers that stayed there in the 80s and the 90s. Now, the first infamous killer was Richard Ramirez, better known as the Night Stalkers. He killed from 1984 to 1985, and that was his room in LA. Now, he was a devil worshiper, he was a rapist, and he was a killer, and he would live in this hotel room for almost a year and break into people's houses while they slept and killed them and everything, and people still say that he is there in his room. Now, in 1991, copycat Johann Unterberg, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, arrived in LA and stayed at the hotel in homage of Ramirez. He spent 5 weeks bringing in prostitutes up in his room, raping them, and then murdering them in his room. Now, he was convicted of murder in Austria, but was released in 1990, and then he fled to America. He worked as a magazine reporter, which is really weird in Austria. And when he got here, he worked as a magazine reporter. And all things about prostitutes, he did it all about prostitutes in LA. He even went on drive, drive rides or whatever they call them, where they go in with the LAPD and they ride along. It's called ride-alongs, and patrolled all of these places where these prostitutes were, and looking for his next potential victims. Not knowing, the police not knowing that he was the killer that was killing all these women, he was tagging along with them. And the latest one was kind of weird. It was about Elisa Lam, and she was a guest at the hotel. And a lot of people were saying that she was playing the elevator game. The elevator game was a game that you could play if you push certain buttons. It was supposed to bring you to the other realm or like another dimension, open a portal up or something. Now, she was seen on camera going in and out of the elevator and pushing these buttons and going in and out of the elevator talking to someone, it seemed like. Now, everybody thought maybe she was on drugs or whatever, but she ended up, they finally found her body like 2 days after she disappeared in the tanks, the water tanks above the hotel, where the water tanks would allow people to get drinking water. They would allow people to get showers and stuff like that. Can you imagine you're bathing in somebody's dead body floating around in your water? Ugh. Anyway, it showed that maybe everybody thought she was on drugs, but how would she get up on a water tower, up on the roof, and she would have to climb up a ladder, really rickety ladder, to get all the way to the top of the tank, and then open the tank herself and get in and stuff. And people, they think she was killed for sure. Well, I mean, she was killed for sure, but my theory would be that someone dropped her body off in there, hiding her body in the water tanks, and people thought that she wouldn't even, they wouldn't even notice, but yeah, it was gross. But she watered in these water tanks on the roof, and when they did a autopsy on her, it showed no drugs were in her system and no alcohol. So she was sane. She wasn't under the influence of anything like that, but it just, how did she get up there? What did she die of? Did she drown? Did she do anything like that? It never really showed. It never really told what she had died from. Now, as of 2021, it became supported housing for the LA people, and it's run by a company called Skid Row Housing Trust. So it's become part hotel, part living residence, like living quarters for the homeless, like a shelter type thing. I would, I don't think I'd be able to stay there. That's pretty gross, thinking about things like that. The other one is the Hotel El Coronado in San Diego. Now, there's a lady named Kate Morgan. She was only 24, and it was Thanksgiving Day, and she was alone and sad, and she was waiting for her love to join her, and she was just, you could tell she was very sad and upset. 5 days later, she takes her own life by a gunshot. She had went in and bought a gun, and she killed herself by the gunshot in her head. Now, this is on the 3rd floor. Kate's room was on the 3rd floor in room 3327, and you can stay there if you would like. But people see that she is going in and out of the rooms. She sees that she was, standing at the end of their beds, things like that. That would be pretty creepy. According to the history on Kate Morgan, she was actually married, and she was meeting her lover, that he never showed up. The lover never showed up. So she was kind of jilted by that fact that her lover didn't show up. And then there's finally room 502, which the ghost checked in and apparently disappeared. Said it was a gentleman. Said it was a man who was in love, of course. His name was E.S. Babcock, or their name was E.S. Babcock. Now, this was another love interest type situation. Ill-fated mistress took her own life soon after she found out she was pregnant. She found out she was pregnant. She told this man he didn't want nothing to do with her because he was already married, and so she found out she was pregnant, and she killed herself in 1888. And that's who the other ghost is, wandering the halls of Hotel El Coronado. So both jilted lovers, both upset because of things, that their lives didn't turn out right, so they ended them. Now, the next one is the Hotel Roosevelt, and this is where Marilyn Monroe, of course, danced her famous dances, and there's Montgomery Clift, who is reported to have appeared in a full-length mirror. But the Blossom Room is where Marilyn Monroe is mostly seen in the Hotel Roosevelt. Now, the Blossom Room, she dances with two gentlemen in tuxedos, one in white, one in red, one in white and one in black. Now, the one in black, he does the black tuxedo. He plays piano, and the other one is seen at the bar or drinking in the white. He's drinking, at the bar, or talking to Marilyn Monroe, or dancing, and it's funny in that sense that they are still playing out their lives, like as if they're still living. And it's pretty interesting. In 1920, a dapper male actor, maybe, frequents the Blossoms Room in a tux. And he likes to do dancing and likes to play the piano. Now, as far as Marilyn Monroe, she had her own suite there at the Roosevelt. So her whole room in suite 1200 was hers, and you could see her too in the mirrors, and you could see her at the end of the bed or coming in and out of the hotel lobby and things like that. that is pretty cool. In room 1928, Montgomery Clift brushes up against maids. You can hear trumpets playing, and then sometimes you get a feeling like you're being paralyzed in bed, like you can't move at all. Sometimes you feel like somebody is actually holding you down, and like I said, you can't move, you can't do anything. You're kind of trapped. So they believe that that's Montgomery Clift making you realize that he's there trying to get your attention. Now, those are the hotels that I wanted to tell you about in California. Now, I'm sure there's tons of other hotels in California that people have went to and seen, but those are the three that I picked out because I found them most interesting. Now, if you have other hotels in California and you'd like me to investigate, or you would like to investigate and tell them the story, please leave it down below, and I will definitely look into them. I am open for suggestions for everything. I usually try to do what my subscribers want. So please make sure you're subscribed. Check out the community page, hit that like button, and that bell to know when the next segment's coming out. Thank you for watching, and please show some kindness and shine your inner light for those in the dark.